Hello there, and in today's card tutorial we're going to be making a fun shaker card. Okay, it does shake, I promise. There we go, shaking all about. Okay, I've used the Confetti Celebration stamp set, which is new to this year's Stampin' Up catalogue, along with the new sprinkles punch to give me some sprinkles for my shaker. And I decided to add a bit of fun, and I've actually put the birthday number in there. I've gone for 10. My children will be 10 this year, and so we'll have lots of 10 birthdays this year as all their friends turn 10 too. So I'm going to need quite a stack of 10-year-old birthday cards. I've made the frame from a piece of turquoise card that I've then used my layering square framelits to create a rectangle with. So I'll be showing you how to do that. And just generally assembling a fun shaker card. So let's go ahead and make this today. I'm going to start with my base card because I want to add some stamping onto that goes into the background. So from the Confetti Celebration stamp set, I've got this sort of banner, I'm not quite sure what you'd call it actually, sort of lanterns hanging down, I suppose, that sort of thing. And I'm going to stamp that a couple of times across the top of my card. So first I'm going to stamp it in Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to ink it up. I don't want the tops to show around that white edge of my card. So I'm going to make sure that I pull my stamp back a bit. I want to try and hide it under the turquoise if I can, but I'm not going to feel terrible if I don't. So I'm going to pop one of those in there in the yellow. And then I'm going to use pumpkin pie for the other one. I'm going to go the other way, like that. And then to finish off the stamping in there, I've got the happy birthday sentiment from the stamp set. And in Cucumber Crush, I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that hopefully straight, sort of in the top section of the card, because underneath is where all my sprinkles and my number are going to fall. So it's not terribly straight, but it's a fun card. I think it'll be okay. So we've done with the base card bit for now. I forgot to say that this was a Whisper White, so A4 sheet cut in half from the short side and then scored through the middle. So we've got the fold at the top. So finish with that for a minute. We can pop it to one side. So now we need to think about our shaker element parts and how we're going to contain them. First we're going to need a frame so that we can see our shaker inside. For that I've got a piece of Tempting Turquoise. I've cut this 1 centimetre all round less than my base card. So if you're in America, that's about ½ an inch. Okay, so it's ½ an inch shorter that way, ½ an inch shorter that way, or a centimetre, so that I would get a ½ centimetre border or about ¼ an inch border all the way round. Okay, now we're going to need to cut an opening into that so that we can see our shaker bits, and for that we're going to need our big shot. So let me bring that in. We'll work from this side. So I've got my magnetic platform and an acetate sheet, and using our layering squares framelits, we're going to use the largest plain square. We're going to pop our card onto the plate, and then we're going to pop our die on. We want to get it with an even border at what might be the top or the bottom edge and the side edges. And as you can see, it only cuts a square, and I want a rectangle, but that's okay. We're just going to cut the square twice. We're going to cut it here, and I'm going to move it across and cut it. Now if I was just to cut the whole square, you'll have noticed when you die cut you get a little bit of a border, don't you, where the die itself gets impressed into the card and you get a bit of a border. Here I've actually got a nice neat rectangular border. There's no lines in here. If I cut this square as it is, I'll get a line where this bit comes across on that border, and I don't want that line. You can do it, it's not a big deal, it doesn't matter, but I don't want it. So I'm just going to cover the top section of the die, and I'm going to leave this bit uncovered and therefore uncut. And then when I remove the die, you'll see I've not cut a whole square, I've just cut a portion of a square. You can do it from the other side, but because don't want to move the big shot, I'm going to turn the bit of card round and I'm going to pop my square back on. You want to make sure you've still got that even border at what's the top or bottom, and you want to line these side edges back up again with where they've already cut as best you possibly can. So take a moment to do that, don't rush. And then again, we're just going to we're covering about, I don't know, 4/5 of the die, most of it. We just don't want to cut that edge of it. This will now meet up with the other one and we'll end up with a lovely rectangle. We'll have that nice border around the sides. Personally, I don't mind it. Some people don't like it, but I don't mind it. Okay, and here we are then. I'm not sure if we'll just lose the definition, but there's a rectangle, but we've actually got a nice impress border where we haven't got a line coming across where the square would have gone round. So let's lose the big shot. Out of the way, and let's see about what we're going to do next to create our shaker. Now, to stop all our pieces just falling out of the card, obviously we need to create a cover for the hole we've cut, and for that we need a piece of acetate. Stampin' Up window sheet is great. When I came to make this card I found I didn't have any, so use that if you've got some. It's fabulous quality and it's nice and thick. This is actually a piece of OHP paper that I've had knocking about for ages. So I'm going to stick that to the back of the frame. So I've turned the frame over, there's my front edge. Okay, and for speed I'm just going to use some fast fuse all the way around the edge. Come on. Oh, it's sticking to everything now. And to that I'm going to stick the piece of acetate. Now you're going to struggle to see the acetate, obviously it's clear, and you can get nasty glare off it as well, so that's why I've sort of kept the bit of paper on it for now. So there we go. Now I've got an acetate, and that's going to stop all our shaker bits going all over the place. So next up we need room to shake. We need room for the shakers, and for that we're going to use these foam adhesive strips. These are new to the annual catalogue as well, and they're deeper than Stampin' Dimensionals, and so you've got more room for all your shaker pieces. And so we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to line the edge of the frame with these. Now you can bend these actually to go around the corners. I have to say I actually prefer to cut them, but for speed on the screen I'll bend them round. And I'm going to need some scissors to cut this last piece off, and I haven't brought any over to the camera with me. Will it just tear? Oh look, it will. Look, crikey, it even tears. That's marvellous. Right, you don't want to leave any gaps big enough that your shaker stuff could get out, basically, is what you're looking for. That part's done for now. Pop it to one side. Now we need our shaker bits. So for my shaker bits, I have got the new Sprinkles punch, and I've got some card, if I can actually unbury it from all the other stuff I've got on the side here. So I've got pumpkin pie, cucumber crush, tempting turquoise, you can use that square that you cut, rectangle, sorry, that you cut out, and daffodil delight. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to punch 2 lots of sprinkles from each colour. Okay. And lastly, pop My backboard's falling down. Right, so 2 lots from the 4 colours. So that's given me a lovely big pile of sprinkles. How many sprinkles you want is entirely up to you, obviously. Okay, so you can do more, you can do less. So I'm going to pop these on now. Brought my base card back in. I'm going to sort of pile these up in the middle. Try and get all those little bits because they're the fun bits that shake really well. Okay, you might want to give them a bit of a mix up and a smush around so they don't end up with all the same bits and colours together. I want to kind of spread it out so I don't end up with a really thick lump in the middle, but you don't want to come close to the edges because you don't want to get them stuck underneath the frame. Okay, but if I have a massive great big pile in the centre, actually they'll just be stuck like that. And then finally I'm adding my number. So I've used the large number framelits, and I've die cut a 1 and a 0 for 10, and I'm going to lay those on the top there. You could add other things in here. You could chuck some sequins in there, throw some stamping glitter in there, make it all sparkly. Any of those things are great for shaker frames. Okay, I've just gone ahead now and I've removed the tape backing from my foam strips, and then all that's left to do, and part of it is to make sure that the inside of your acetate is nice and clean so you haven't got any bits on it. All you have to do now is pop the frame on over the top like so and press it down, and there you go. You've got a fun shaker card with your number of your birthday in there. So unless they're like, well, why couldn't you stick 100 in there? That would be fun. Okay, sometimes when it's 2 numbers they get mixed up, but I'm sure somebody who's 16 is going to realise they're not 61 or 91 if the 6 turns the other way up. So don't worry about that. It's all just a bit of fun, isn't it? So there we go. Fun shaker cards with the number in for the birthday that you're celebrating. I hope you've enjoyed today's project over here on Stamping with Val, and I'll be back really soon with another video tutorial. Bye for now.